Let's summarize what's taken place on this project using three other performance indicators that are commonly used in the field. They are the SPI, the CPI, and the PCIB. And I'm afraid you're going to have to get used to all these acronyms, and I'll do my best to explain what these terms mean. So the first one, the SPI, refers to the Schedule Performance Index. And the SPI is based on a simple formula of earned value divided by planned value. So 46 divided by 32 equals 1.44. 72 by 64 is 1.13, and so forth. And what this means is at the end of the second period, $1.44 worth of work has been accomplished for each planned dollar spent. And so that would indicate that we're ahead of schedule. We look down here at the end of the eighth period, what we're saying is 97 cents worth of work has been accomplished for each planned dollar, which indicates that we're behind schedule. And if you remember back at the end of the eighth period, we did have a negative schedule variance. There was work that was supposed to be done that hasn't been done. Now let's look at the CPI. Formula for the CPI is earned value divided by actual costs. 46 divided by 37 is 124. 72 by 59 is 122. And what that's telling us is that we're getting $1.24 worth of work for each dollar spent. And at the end of the eighth period, it's declined slightly, but we're still getting 18 cents more worth of work for each dollar spent than what we had thought or planned, which suggests that we're under budget, which is the case. And the nice thing about both of these indicators is that if you have a 1.00 score, that means you're either right on schedule if it's the SPI or right on budget in terms of the CPI. And so there's an anchor to tell you how far ahead or behind schedule or how far over or under budget you are. You're getting 18 cents on the dollar at the end of the eighth period. If you go back to the cost variance at that time, it might have been, let's say, $8,000. Well, if it was $8,000, that's quite a bit if it's a project that costs maybe $25,000. But if you're $8,000 under budget on a multi-million-dollar project, that's peanuts. But you know that it's actually significant given the budget because it's 18 cents on the dollar for this particular project. So you're 18% improvement in terms of cost. And a 3-cent decline in terms of schedule. So that's one of the advantages of the CPI and the SPI. I believe that the CPI in particular is very useful. The SPI, because of its problems in terms of identifying critical path activities and so forth, is less useful. But certainly the CPI is one of the indices that you should become familiar with. Now let's look at the third index, and that's the PCIB. This is a very good indication of how much progress that has actually taken place on this project. And the formula for this is PCIB equals earned value divided by the BAC. Now, what is the BAC? Remember, the BAC is the budgeted cost at completion. How much did we think this project was supposed to cost in total? And if you go back to your time phase baseline budget, you'll remember that the BAC in this case was $206,000. So we divide the earned value by 206, and that gives us an indication of how much progress has been made. And we see at the end of the second week, 22% has been accomplished. Moves up to 35, jumps to 59 at the end of the sixth week. And even though the project is supposed to take 12 weeks, at the end of the eighth week, we are 75% complete. So 75% of the project's done at the end of the eighth week. We're getting 18 cents more on the dollar in terms of cost, but we're 3 cents on the dollar behind schedule. So if cost is important, we're looking good. If schedule is more important than cost, then we may want to look at how we can speed things up to get back on schedule.